Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and today we're gonna do a quick collection buying video. So I recently picked up a small collection from a gentleman around my area actually, that was kind of selling a much larger collection. I wasn't able to pick up the whole collection. We couldn't really agree on a price, but I was able to pick up like a part of the collection. So I do want to share with you kind of what that looks like. So first of all, I think what I purchased was probably maybe around 1,000 or so cards. Most of them are actually just these, what I call showcase lands. Some of these things like the Theros ones, they look so cool, right? So I really enjoyed this. So these are awesome things I really like. There's some like snow lands, forest snow lands, some of the Crimson Vow lands, etc. And of course, you know, some of my favorite are the Yukai lands from, I think, Neon Dynasty. They're just really cool. And these particular ones are in foil. So that is kind of awesome as well. Of course, I have a Shark Typhoon in the back. This is actually a pile I'm reserving for a friend who is looking to trade for this stuff. Anyway, some of the other fun things like these promo treasure tokens and the pirates and things like that. But really, I do want to go over like a lot of the other things in here. So, you know, part of the reason why we couldn't really agree on a price is this collection is mostly modern cards. Now, these aren't just like, I guess what I should say is these aren't just nothing modern cards. All of these cards are worth a couple dollars each, some, you know, 10, 20-ish, right? That kind of range, but nothing crazy. I mean, there are a couple cards worth a lot more, and I'll show you what those are. And that's, you know, what I paid quite a bit of money for. But as you can see, as I'm kind of fanning through these cards, nothing is like super high ticket value cards. And part of the problem right now is just modern in general, or modern cards in general, have really, you know, no way to keep their pricing, even though some of the cards are really good, like Wilderness Reclamation is great. Some of these pathway lands, right? Treasure Vault, Awakening, Omnath, you know, this foil bolt from M25, right? Lathis. These are cards that have some value, of course, but one of the issues is as, you know, we kind of venture into more and more of kind of like the future, some of these cards are just, you know, the problem is that the price has gone down so much. And every single time we see a reprint, a lot of these old school cards that used to be, I want to say like, you know, 30, 40, 50 bucks just come down to like, you know, 20, something like that. Basically you slash all the values in half. And of course, if there's any more master sets, print to modern sets, things that normally print really high power cards into those specific sets, then of course cards like this will still go down. Now, the interesting thing is always cards like this. So this is from the Vault Realms, I believe. So it's the one that has all the land and special lands. Because how unique some of these artwork are in the foiling of this set, these should actually long-term hold some value, because again, it's hard to replace or reprint these things. But given that, look, the card itself is not unique, they can of course print a new Boseiju Who Shelters All or a Glacial Chasm. I do believe actually they have done this already. These values will not hold long term. And that's one of the scary things about holding on to cards like this, you know, rather than, again, probably put it onto the market and selling them. Honestly, in my opinion, like for cards like this, I may just hold them because, you know, I like the cards themselves. But for everyone else, you know, maybe it's not really smart to hold these things if you're looking for value. I would probably put those kind of money somewhere else. And then you have like, you know, Ugin. I mean, anyone remember when Ugin was like a $60, $70 card? Of course, with the M21 reprint and 3 different variants, you know, that card has really come down. Now, I will say this is probably the best looking Ugin because of the really special, like, it's kind of like almost like it is a borderless, but it's more borderless than your normal borderless card. As you can see, the card really extends out. It's almost like the text is written on top of artwork rather than having a box around it. So it's really nice. Not normal for a card. Does have a lot of like, you know, aesthetic appeal, but again, it's a reprint card. The card is still good, but again, it's just long-term, where's it gonna go? Some of the Triomes, as you know, from Ikoria, these are great cards. Rin and Siri and all the, you know, people who love cat and dog stuff, you know, all this like, I guess we have a lot of team up cards. So this is one of the original team up cards, right? From a promo. Of course, there was ones from Innistrad as well. Assassin's Trophy. I just need this for my deck. I've wanted Assassin trophies for a long time, and finally in Double Masters 2022, they finally reprinted it again. So now I have a way to get them. More Triumphs, Vampiric Tutor, Bitter Blossom. Like, you guys remember when Bitter Blossom was like $40, right? Yeah, me too. So yeah, Necropotence, that's probably still holding some value. Entomb, All Is Dust, Vanquisher banners. These are super useful, but again, as they keep printing more and more of these cards, where does that go? Omniscience, man, Mechanized Production. I think the fact that Mechanized Production dropped in price is just because it's not part of the meta anymore, right? But that's a cool card, right? Sorin, like cards like this just won't hold value long term, right? Your Goldspan Dragon, Opposition Agent. This is still going to be a cool card, but I'm pretty sure they're going to print it for that Masters, the Commander Masters, whatever set. That sounds like it's going to be an easy reprint for that set. Here, let me put this Vanquisher banner with those. You have from I think these are the Spellbooks. This is the Spellbook Gideon, right? Black Blade. It's just, the artwork is so cool on some of these cards. So that's why I picked these up. I don't think they're worth that much. Maybe they're worth quite a bit. I don't know. That Path to Exile looks cool. Sneak Attack. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. This card used to be very expensive. Of course, now Double Master reprinted, Dominaria reprinted it, so it's not really that important. Archangel of Thune. I really like this card. I actually run it in my Commander deck, so I probably will be replacing this card with the current non-foil one I have in my Commander deck, just to spice things up. Azusa, I've always wanted one, so now I have two. I probably will be selling one and keeping one. Noble Hierarch, same thing. Toxic Deluge. Yeah, like I'm gonna totally run one of these in my deck. Smothering Tithe. I've never had a Smothering Tithe. I'm starting to think maybe I should just keep one for my Commander deck. I don't like cards like this because I don't like the fact that I basically have to make other people's games miserable, but it is also kind of stable, and it's kind of funny when you ask people, do they want to pay the two? Yeah, it's funny, right? More banners, Necropotence, special frame Noble Hierarch. Again, all the special frames here and there. These, for whatever reason, were running really hot, like price-wise on release, and I don't know where they've gone now. But again, with anything Triumph, I'm just gonna chill on them because they're kind of fun. Here's more of those Realms special cards. Oh yeah, that's right. We had some Ragavans in there. So again, these cards, this is probably the highest ticket cards in the stack for me. I guess the Ozolith too, a little bit. So these were separately. Basically, I purchased them for separately and that kind of same thing. Ragavan is going to see another reprint coming up in the March of the Machines. So, whatever that means for this card price wise, I still think given that this card is like so basically staple breaking for every single format, I don't really suspect that the special, whatever, historical legends card reprint in March of the Machines is really going to do anything for these two cards. So yeah. Ozolith, this card needs a reprint along with the Great Henge. I think those two cards probably will see a reprint coming up soon. Yeah. Cyclonic Rift, I know this is one of the best blue, board wipes out there. Yeah, you're gonna run in your Commander deck because it's the best. That's it. So this card, even if it dips on reprint, it's just gonna go back up again. People need this card, especially if Commander is the format that everyone wants to play. And it's the format that basically everybody's chasing for, right? Anointed Processions, these are, standard fare, things like that. So there's that. The more exciting stuff, right? I did find a Worldly Tutor, original Mirage printing, not that stupid Dominaria Remastered. I don't have anything specific against Dominaria Remastered. I just wish they didn't print the old borders again. I kind of like this border. I like the simplicity of the Mirage symbol. I think the Dominaria Remaster symbol is just a little bit too complicated. So moving on to the more spicy pile here. You've probably been eyeing that Cavern of Souls. So the Cavern of Souls here, the Cliff, these are all, I think, let's see. These are Zendikar Rising Expeditions, right? Yeah, so these are all the Zendikar Rising Expeditions. Pretty cool stuff, right? Windswept Heath. These allied fetches probably will see a reprint coming up soon. We've had enemy fetches. We're going to see another allied one. But again, these special frame, special border cards should hold price long term. I do like some of these promos, like this Walk the Plank. It's a foil. and it just really looks nice, like that borderless type of thing, or this textless borderless Path of Exile. I know one of the stores, like basically whenever you buy some stuff from them, they always give you this card as a promo. But I still like it. I'm just gonna keep this. There's no way I'm trading this pretty much ever. Even if this is the most common Path of Exile out there, I'm not gonna trade that. So that's where it's gonna stay in my binder. I will be playing that card for sure. Here we go. So some of the more spicy stuff. Karn Liberated, that full art borderless box topper, right? So there's that. And then 2 inventions, so Sculpting Steel and Sword of Fire and Ice. I think Sword of Fire and Ice is still holding pretty good price. Just all the swords, they look so amazing in this special frame. Of course, the steel as well. And then some of these invocations, again, lottery cards. People have different feelings about cards like this, but again, you know, they are readable. Things like Wrath of God definitely is playable. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Armageddon, to be fair. Oh, sorry. Not Armageddon. This is Boil. Yeah, so maybe they're not that readable. Anyways, there's Boil, Wrath of God, and of course, Thoughtseize. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, yeah, these invocations are kind of cool. Thoughtseize is still being used, and this artwork is pretty much bar none the best artwork out there. So there's that. Anyways, some smallish collection, and this is not normally what I would purchase. Again, if you guys been in the channel long, I purchase reserve list cards, old school stuff like that. Usually I won't pick up modern sets like this, but again, you know, I just, there's some cards in here that I kind of wanted to add to my own collection. So long term, you know, there's that, a little bit of that too. I've spoken to some of my friends. Some of them recommend selling all of these cards here because none of them hold value, blah, 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 traded in for reserve lists. You know, it's the same thing I get from my groups. But honestly, I think at some point in your life, you look at cards like these and you just think, what is the sentimental value of having some of these in a binder for you long term? Like, would I have joy from looking at the Sword and Fire and Ice in my binder or in a commander deck or something like that? And I think for me currently, yes, I would enjoy it. So that's one way that it's giving you dividend. I mean, you purchase a card, let's say you spend, I don't know, 150 for it, 200, something like that. I don't know what the current price for Sword and Fire Ice goes, but you know, you put it in a binder and then you could like continue to look at it over and over and over again. And just, you know, if it gives you a lot of joy, I think there's some good value in that card long-term for you as well to hold, not just to instantly flip. Yeah, so again, it's a pretty bear market for Magic out there. I see a lot of people selling full collections like this. So this is I mean, honestly, this is a smaller collection than, again, what I would normally pick up. But maybe this is a good time to go pick up Magic cards. If you're looking for unique, weird things like this, there's probably going to be a lot of these on the market right now, more than ever. Given more and more that it's looking like Wizards just going to start printing more things into infinity, you'll probably see a lot of these, like, you know, what I would call like middle tier modern printed cards on the market as well. But yeah, long term, again, it's a card game, right? Make sure you enjoy this game for a game as a game, and that's the most important part. So the rest of it, the financial part of it, I wouldn't dabble in it. I wouldn't open packs for singles. And this is honestly, so the little short story here is that as I was kind of going through these cards with the gentleman, he was telling me things like, oh, you know, I spend X amount of money. You know, I think his full collection, I think he spent over like $10,000 or whatever. And part of it seems like he just, you know, he enjoys opening packs. It's something, it's an activity he does with his kids and with his nephew. But of course, as you can see, it's, you know, it's gotten him to the point where he has way more cards than he wants. And when he's ready to let go of those cards, he's not going to be able to sell them for like what he paid for them, right? Again, because a lot of the cards do go down in price, unfortunately, and that's just how it is. So don't recommend opening modern cards for value if you are doing that. If you want to open cards, I honestly just don't recommend opening cards. I recommend playing draft. I recommend doing those things. Or if you're a store, you know, do whatever you do. The only people who should really be opening packs is a store. That's what I think. And then of course, if you want a certain card, please go buy the singles. I can guarantee you, even though it looks like it's way more expensive, getting one of these, like inventions or invocations, it's super rare. There's really no way that you're just going to be able to open a pack and get one of these things. So I wouldn't try it, right? I would rather just say, hey, buy these things for the value. Again, like take for example a sword, right? So this Sword and Fire Ice, if you really want this card, it's like, let's say $200. So you can buy a Kaladesh box for what, like, I think currently it's like 200 plus bucks, and you likely won't even hit one of the inventions. So my recommendation, you instead play the game, buy the singles you want, and then enjoy them. So anyways, Mark Solar Games, I'll see you next time.